We welcome back Daniella Stonefield and Rick Hollyfield from Elevé Properties. So good to see you both.
Great to be back.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
So, of course, we've all heard of buyer's remorse, and maybe we've all had it on occasion.
Yes.
But you've kind of changed things up a little bit, flipped that on its head in recent months. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so something that I'm claiming that we coined it. I'm the first place that I heard it, so we're gonna go with that.
Okay. So I'll stick with it.
We're calling it seller's remorse, and that's really what it is. So of course, as you said, we know buyer's remorse. This is something that happens across industries or things like that, from buying a pair of shoes to buying a home.
Sure.
But seller's remorse is something that we're seeing more and more now, and it's really characterized by people who we believe have felt rushed, and they didn't even necessarily realize it. They just thought, wow, I can get 50, 60, 70% on what I purchased this for. Let's just get in the market. This seems like a no-brainer. About halfway through the transaction, they start really questioning that. Or when they start getting showings, they start really questioning that. It's a beautiful day, they're out on their bikes because there's a string of showings that day, and they look at each other and think, I don't think we want to do this.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot more of that in this market where everything feels rushed. So that's something that we would encourage people to just be methodical. Do not feel like you have to make a decision today, because next Thursday is going to be about the same as this Thursday.
Right.
So make the right choice, really think it through, make sure that everyone who is party to the transaction is in harmony with each other. What do you think about that?
Yeah, living in an RV for 6 months sounds really great, but if you're forced to do it because you sold your house and you don't have a place to go,
Right.
maybe not as fun as you'd hoped it would be.
Yeah.
So just know where your plans are when you sell.
Yeah, that is a very interesting dynamic part of this market for sure. And so obviously having the right agent to help you make that decision or be methodical about that decision is probably a critical piece to the puzzle. So tell us a little bit about how somebody should go about hiring the right agent, which I'm assuming you're going to say is you, and how you guide them through that process.
We like to think, of course, that it is us. And frankly, I think for most projects that you would run into in this market, because we are experts here, we would be the right fit. And if we're not, we'll tell you. But just hiring an agent is, the right agent, I should say, is maybe 2B. 2A is going to be hiring an agent at all, because something that we're seeing right now is, because it's a seller's market, we talked about FSBOs last time, for sale by owner, for those who are just watching for the first time. We're seeing a lot of that. We're also, though, seeing something creep up a lot where individuals will call us and they'll say, I'm thinking about selling, so I'm just calling all the agents that I know because I want to make sure that it gets out there as much as possible. The interesting thing is that if you know 5 agents, you might think that you're spreading the word and you're doing yourself a service. You're actually shooting yourself in the foot. If you know 5, we know 5,000. So not hiring the right person or hiring someone at all is a big mistake, especially in a market where time is of the essence.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's talk a little bit about the buyer's side. We like to do both sides with you guys normally.
That's right.
So I think, Rick, you're going to take this one. If somebody is still contemplating trying to get into this market and get their feet in and buy something, what's your advice for them right now?
I think more than anything, it's to know the cost of ownership. It's more than just your initial investment or your monthly mortgage payment. What's the total cost of ownership? We talked the last time about buying a house without an inspection.
Right.
What does it cost to replace a 5-ton HVAC unit? You may be looking at that in the future. You're not going in with the knowledge today that you had in the past. So know the total cost of ownership, and know if that's going to affect your life enjoyment. I was in mortgage banking for a long time, and I used to tell first-time buyers, it feels great to have a Ferrari, but if you can't afford a Ferrari because you can't have these types of things, if you have a shoe fetish and you can't buy the shoes that you're always buying, then having the Ferrari is going to be miserable to you, because it's not the joy that you're used to being with. Your house is exactly the same thing. So just know the total cost of ownership and be comfortable with that. And don't let the market push you out of your comfort zone.
Okay, it's very good advice. And interestingly enough, I've had several houses on my street sell recently, and I can not tell you how many HVAC units I've seen sitting outside getting ready to be taken to the dump and new ones going in.
Seems to be the time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do people get to you real quickly if they want your expertise?
Partners at Elevé Properties, of course, or elevéproperties.com. And one point that I just want to make, following up on what Rick just said, the thing that makes your house home is you.
Yeah.
So if you have to give up a bathroom or 100 square feet here or there to be comfortable and happy, you're the key piece, not that house.
Excellent advice, for sure. Thanks, guys, for being with me
Thank
today.
you.
You're welcome. Thank you.